Well, hello there, friends. It's the Sunday morning spread from Cards of Light, Bright Blessings of the Tarot for October 30th, 2022. It's almost All Hallows Eve. How about that? We will lay out 4 cards as usual. We're back to the Thoth deck again this week. We'll be looking at the 4 dimensions of life and see if the cards can pick up on any of the energies that will be happening in those dimensions of our lives for the next week here. Just giving these one last little overhand shuffle. I kind of rebooted the deck before we started. All right. Let's get our minds quiet here. Take a few breaths. I always like to give the cards just one last shuffle with the overhands like that, right before cutting. I usually use a riffle shuffle to kind of really get them mixed up. I know a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't treat tarot cards like that. They're not a poker deck. But when I shuffle, the main thing is to get a good random draw. And we've got the Death card. This one has been popping up a lot. So in the spiritual dimension, we have the Death card this week. In the social emotional, Princess of Discs. In the mental dimension, the Ten of Swords. Gloomy, gloomy, gloomy. And in the physical dimension, the Ace of Cups. All right. We will get these straightened up so that they're a little easier to see, so that we can kind of see the big picture. And that card just wants to look crooked, doesn't it? I don't know what's going on today. Okay. Quit being anal retentive, Brian. All right. So we have 1 major, 1 court card, and 2 pips. We are in 3 different suits for the minors. We've got this Death card, which has come up now. I think it came up last Sunday, maybe. And again on our 3-card Thursday this week. So lots of transformation going on. And we'll talk more about that when we get to that dimension. But let's start over here in the physical dimension of our lives. The Ace of Cups. And this card for me, well, first of all, Cups, the suit of the heart, the suit of emotions, suit of relationships, the suit of love. And so aces, as we've talked about many times, is not even the first expression of a suit as much as the potential or the idea of the energy of that suit. So this is like the source here for me. This is the source of love, the source of all of the beauty in life. It sometimes can represent the chalice of the Eucharist and all that it represents. So the Holy Grail here represented in this card. Coming as it does in the physical dimension, this tells me that the things that we do this week that are about our physical lives in our physical environment are going to be closely related to the deepest love in our heart, and related to recognizing that love in ourselves, recognizing that love in the others that we encounter, sharing that love with others. That's really going to be the most significant thing to our physical and financial health this week. It's all about relationships. So rather than kind of quick goals, cut to the chase, get things done, try to close that deal, that sort of thing. Focus on the relationship, focus on the connection between our hearts. And that is excellent advice all the time. But, it's easy to get caught up, isn't it, in the busyness of day-to-day life. When really, in the long run, it's those relationships that mean everything. So even in the physical world, we need to stay cognizant of that big love that lives within all of us. It's hard to see it in ourselves sometimes. It's hard to see it in some other people sometimes, but it is there underneath all the garbage that we collect in our conditioned minds. That love is the main thing. We need to really, really be attentive and focus on that this week, and particularly in service to others, and in creating those relationships, being attentive to the relationships with others. And over here in the social emotional, we have the Princess of Discs. And we've talked about before that the Princess card is the low rank of the court cards. So it is the rank that is about beginning, about untapped potential. It is the rank of the element of earth, and discs are the cards of earth. And so this card is Earth of Earth. This is like a potential endeavor, just the beginning of something. And it's over here in the social emotional. So we've got this card of cups in the physical realm. We've got this card of discs in the social emotional dimension of our lives. These two normally would be flip-flopped. What this is telling me is that, I think this is about some sort of business transaction. Maybe the very beginnings of a partnership, or of some kind of deal in the works, or maybe a new job for someone. And there's going to be a tendency to get caught up in, the ticky-tacky aspects of, bottom lines, and how to achieve goals and blah, blah, blah. Stick to the relationships this week. And that's all I'll say about these two. Stick to the relationships. Make sure you're attentive to those, and things will be okay. Okay, in the mental dimension, trouble, trouble, trouble. We've got the 10 of Swords. Swords, the cards of the mind. Tens are where the energy has it has gone to the extreme. It's played itself out. And there's not much farther to go. This is just such a troublesome card. And Crowley styles it ruin. This is the card in the Rider deck that shows the character lying on the ground in a pool of his own blood, with swords sticking out of him all over the place. And it is, the tradition is that it represents Julius Caesar. So coming in the mental dimension here, this seems like plans that have been really well thought out, and maybe executed to the best of the abilities, but they just are not going to come to fruition. They're just not. It's just not going to work out. And we're going to have to begin again. And it's hard to do that. And it's easy to just focus on, hey, we didn't get this done this time, instead of moving on. Now, in the version of this card in the Rider deck, it's a very dark card, but it shows the sunrise in the background on the horizon. So every time we reach the end, even though it may be gloomy and we are grieving the fact that we lost, there is a new beginning. Maybe even for Julius Caesar. I don't know. Depending on how you look at the world and how our lives go, maybe Caesar came back to a gentler, happier life somewhere. Who knows? But anyway, so this is all about relationships here. This is about what we do to ourselves in our own minds when we are faced with the prospects of ruin or faced with losses. And it's those attachments that really hurt us. It's the hanging on when it is time to let go. And then comes the death card. And it's given us the same message here, that it's time to let, I don't know who this is, but this card keeps showing up. It's time to let go of something here. Something that I almost threw the card off the table. That's how much time it is to let go. But somebody is hanging on to something here, and it just is making them miserable. Just gripping that loss, like it's, that we got to hang on tight to it. Let it go, and get on up into the light, in coming in the spiritual dimension. I mean, this card, this card is good for Scorpio season that we just entered, because that is also the card of transitions. Makes perfect sense to me that we've got this stuff about relationships down here, and we've got this stuff about letting go of attachments so that we can move on. And we're moving to somewhere really beautiful. If we can just kind of float on up to the surface into the light, we're going to be okay. We hang on to this stuff and it's just going to be more gloom and doom. So we don't want to do that. There is a brighter day tomorrow. This week may be rough for some of us. I would love to hear from you if stuff is going on in your life that is unpleasant and feels like death, feels like ruin. Hang in there. It's going to get better. And I got the sense that it's going to get better before terribly long here. But in order to do that, we have to get on board and be ready to move forward. We hang on to that stuff. It really can ruin our lives if we choose to just stay stuck with stuff that doesn't serve us anymore, or with stuff that was beautiful while it lasted, but it's gone now. And it's not coming back, and we need to just get on with our lives here. So let's look at the table one more time. These cards are so pretty. Even this swords card, which is bad news. And I love the death card. We've talked about that before. I want to start singing "Under the Sea" from The Little Mermaid every time I see that. This Ace of Cups, what a beautiful depiction. That source of all love. And Princess of Discs, I think this is another one that maybe kept this deck out of the U.S. prison system because it was a little too racy. But what a beauty. Yeah. I like this layout. I really do. Well, an interesting spread anyway this week. I'd love to hear what you think. Leave comments with the video. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you're getting something out of these videos so that other people can get exposed to them too. We will be back on Thursday for 3-Card Thursday. And I think that's all I had to say for this week. I hope this finds you in good spirits and safe and well. And until Thursday, as always, I wish you peace. Have a beautiful week.